Grabbing the boards like, I'ma go coast to coast. I'm on beats like Dosey-Do. They don't wanna go toe to toe. Step into my court, you get put in the post.
Yo, what up, it's your boy JDMC, and we're back with another video. What I'm gonna be doing today is going through the best player of each age in the NBA. So it goes from 19 to 40. There's no 38-year-olds or 39-year-olds. Yeah, there's everything else apart from those two. What I'm gonna do is just go through all ages from youngest to oldest, and I'm gonna name the best player who I think is the best player in that age range. I'm not saying I'm right. Leave a comment down below if you disagree with the players I've put. And I'm also gonna do 2 honorable mentions as like runners up, just because there is a lot of talent, so I wanted to give like the honorable mentions to the runners up, and just in case you guys think a runner up should be in the top spot that I've put. But before we get into it, make sure to hit the sub button. Let's try hit 600 by the end of the month. That would be crazy. And also leave a like on the video if you want to see more of this sort of style of content. Obviously won't do like another age one. I might in like, you know, a year or so, but I've got a few ideas of like sort of video styles like this. So can we try get, you guys have been doing so well, 15 likes? I don't think you guys can get 15 likes, but if we hit 15 likes on this video, I'll do another sort of style of video like this. But without further ado, let's get into it. So we'll start off from youngest to oldest. Age 19, I've got LaMelo Ball, with the runners up being Anthony Edwards and James Wiseman. Obviously these players are still rookies, and we've got a lot of time to see them grow in terms of like who's the better one. I think at this point though, it probably is LaMelo Ball. He's probably sort of been doing the most for his team. I feel like James Wiseman's been like a solid piece for the Warriors, and also Anthony Edwards is like finding his own, but I just feel like he's not too efficient. Neither is Melo, but yeah, I just think that Melo's probably the best player in that 19-year-old age range at this stage. And also I was surprised there's no 18-year-old NBA players. I thought there'd be 18-year-old. That would mean that they'd have to come straight out of high school, right? Because if you do a year in college, then you'd be 19. I'm not sure. I'm from New Zealand, so I'm not too fully sure on the age range over there. But yeah, I was surprised there's no 18-year-olds. And Melo's like one of the youngest players in the league. Now moving on to age 20, I've got Zion Williams, with the runners-up RJ Barrett and Cole Anthony. Obviously Zion Williams is Zion Williams. Like RJ Barrett's like a solid player as well, but I think Zion definitely holds down this age 20-year-old category. Yes, so number age 21 is Luka Doncic, obviously followed up by Ja and Tyler HERRO. Ja is a really solid player, but I don't think that you can say he's better than Luka, especially at this point in their career. Like even though the Mavs have had like somewhat of a disappointing start to the season, I still just think Luka's putting up big boy numbers, and he definitely holds down the age 21 spot. Moving on to age 22, we've got Jason Tatum, with the runners up being Trae Young and Collin Sexton. I think you could maybe sort of debate that Trae Young's the top player in that age range, but I think for 22 years old, like Jason Tatum is the man for that age. I think he's better than Trae Young at this stage. He's had sort of more consistent success, and we've seen him put up numbers on like a winning team. Now moving on to 23, we've got Brandon Ingram, with the runners up Bam and Jamal Murray. Not too much to say about this. Like Bam is a very solid player, but I think that Brandon Ingram definitely holds us down. He should be an all-star again this year, which would make him a 2-time all-star. I mean, so could Bam, but Bam might not be all-star this year. We'll have to see. But yeah, definitely Brandon Ingram for age 23. 24, we've got Devin Booker, with the runners-up being Donovan Mitchell and Ben Simmons. This is probably one of the heavier sort of age ranges in terms of like talent. Like Devin Booker, Donovan Mitchell, and Ben Simmons are all like extremely high talent in the league. I do just think that Devin Booker is the top talent, so he can hold down the 24-year-old spot. Moving on to age 25, Joker's the best player in my opinion for age 25, followed up by Kat and Zach LaVine. Not much else to say. Like Joker's nearly averaging a triple-double this year. Probably the best center in the league. You can maybe debate Joel Embiid, but I think that Joker's the best center in the league, and I'm a huge Joel Embiid fan. Yeah, so not much else to say about that one. Age 26 is Giannis Antetokounmpo, and Joel Embiid and Pascal Siakam are the runners up. Obviously Giannis back-to-back MVP. He easily deserves the spot. Joel Embiid is having an MVP season, and Pascal Siakam is still a really solid player, but definitely easily Giannis Antetokounmpo is the best player for the 26-year-olds. Now moving on to the 27-year-olds, we've got Anthony Davis, Bradley Beal, and Andre Drummond as the runners-up. Not much else to say about this one as well. I think Anthony Davis is clearly the best player in that 27-year-old age range. Bradley Beal will be an all-star again. He definitely has to be an all-star again this year. And Drummond should also potentially be an all-star in the East as well. So that is a lot of talent. Now heading into these sort of age ranges, like from the 25 to sort of 32, that's sort of like players prime, so they have a lot more sort of heavy talent in these categories. Yeah, Anthony Davis for age 27. And age 28, we've got Kyrie Irving, with the runners up being Rudy Gobert and Victor Oladipo. Yeah, Kyrie Irving is Kyrie. He's had a great season this year. I think if anything, he looks more efficient this year than he has in the past. Like I think people were sort of questioning like, oh, how's it going to be like the third string behind Harden and KD, but I think like the shots Kyrie's getting, he's making, and he's being extremely efficient and is still, yeah, a top talent. So Kyrie Irving holds down the #1 spot for age 28. And age 29, we've got Kawhi Leonard with CJ McCollum and Chris Middleton as the runners-up. I think Kawhi is the clear favorite for this age range. Obviously, CJ McCollum and Chris Middleton are both like all-star caliber type players, but yeah, by a long shot, Kawhi Leonard's the best 29-year-old player in the league. All right, now getting on to the 30s. So for age 30, we've got Damian Lillard as the best player. And then we've got the runners-up being Paul George and Gordon Hayward. I think all three of those players should potentially be an all-star this year. But Damian Lillard is the clear favorite. I mean, Paul George is still very solid, and it's probably not like a clear favorite when I say Damian Lillard. But yeah, I definitely think that Damian Lillard is the best 30-year-old in the league, followed closely by Paul George and then Gordon Hayward. Age 31, we've got James Harden, followed by Jimmy Butler and DeMar DeRozan. Obviously, James Harden being the league leader last year, now moving to a super team. I just think there, Jimmy Butler is a really nice player, and I think he's up there with James Harden, but James Harden is still that little bit, that tier above, and I just think that the big thing is James Harden's a lot more consistent than Jimmy Butler in terms of like big performances. But yeah, so James Harden holds down the 31-year-olds. Okay, this is definitely the most talent in like this age range, especially when we talk about the top three. At the #1 spot for age 32, I've got Kevin Durant, followed by Steph Curry and then Russell Westbrook. You can maybe debate Curry and KD. I just think that KD's a better player, especially this year. Obviously, Curry's been putting up, what, 50-point games here and there, but like, I just think that in terms of like an overall talent, KD is the man, so he holds down the best player for age 32. But I'm not too mad if you want to say Curry's better. This is just my opinion. Now moving on to age 33, so we're getting more into the old men now. At the #1 spot, I've got Mike Conley, followed by Joe Ingles and Danny Green. This is probably one of the weaker age range. Those three players, none of them will be an all-star or anything this year, but shout out to them for being, you know, into their 30s and still balling out. So yeah, Mike Conley's holding it down for the 33-year-olds. Now moving on to 34, we've got Kyle Lowry holding down the #1 spot, followed by Al Horford and Lou Williams. Yeah, don't think there's too much to say about this one. Kyle Lowry is probably clearly sort of the best player. He's probably the only player that's still like an all-star caliber type player for the 34-year-olds. So we'll give that one to my man Kyle Lowry, holding down the 34-year-olds. And now moving on to age 35, we've got Chris Paul holding down the #1 spot, followed by LaMarcus Aldridge and PJ Tucker. Again, like Kyle Lowry, I think CP3 is a clear all-star caliber player compared to the other two. I mean, LaMarcus Aldridge is still a nice player, but yeah, I think that his sort of prime sort of is behind him, where CP3, his prime's behind him as well, but he's still, you know, playing like an all-star. So yes, Chris Paul is the best 35-year-old player in the league. And now moving on to age 36, obviously LeBron James holds it down. It's actually crazy, like, to see that sort of talent drop off as you go through this list, and then to hit 36 and have LeBron, who's like probably still arguably the best player in the league. That's actually crazy. And then we've got followed up with Carmelo Anthony and Paul Millsap, which are still very, very strong, rotational, good players who still, yeah, perform at a high level. So yeah, shout out to the 36-year-olds, but LeBron holds it down for them. And now moving on to the last two categories. So these last two categories only have one player each. So age 37, we've got Andre Iguodala. He doesn't have any runners up because he's the only 37-year-old player in the league. He's still in the Miami Heat, and he's still, you know, still a decent defender and stuff like that. So kudos to Andre Iguodala. He's the best 37-year-old player in the league, / the only 37-year-old player in the league. And moving on to the last one, we've got age 40. So there's no 38 or 39-year-old players, and obviously Vince Carter's retired now, so there's no like 43-year-old players. So the oldest man in the league and the only 40-year-old is Udonis Haslem. To be honest, I thought that last year was his last year. I never heard that he retired, but I didn't realize that he was still playing until I made this video. So shout out to him. He's pretty much just, yeah, like part of the coaching staff at this stage. He's only ever played for the Heat. I think it's like 21 or 22 years he's been there, so that's crazy. He's still in, like, physically, like in terms of his body, he still looks like, you know, extremely like healthy and stuff. He just doesn't get the playing time because I've got a lot of talent on the Heat. But yeah, Udonis Haslem holds it down for the 40-year-olds. But yeah, that's that for the video. Make sure to hit a like if you like this style of video, and also drop a comment down below if you disagree with any of the placements I've put. But yeah, other than that, make sure to hit that subscribe button. If you've made it this far in the video and you aren't subscribed, check. You might as well subscribe. I think like 9% of the people who watch my videos from the last like 28 days are subscribed, so that's like 91% of people who aren't subscribed. That makes me sad. Help make me unsad. I'll catch you guys next time. Stay safe and peace.
Grabbing the boards like, I'ma go coast to coast. I'm on beats like Dosey Do. They don't wanna go toe to toe. Step into my court, you get put in the poster. We ain't talk to nobody if you ain't with the smoke. Run up on me, watch your ankles get broke. Spirit get him in and kick it back with the ghost. A lot of people talk but ain't doing the most. I'm a kook shit like who you? I don't think that we neutral. Can't control myself, I'm breaking free like JD MC Mewtwo.